Hello, it's summer 1985, August 4th. I say summer, the skies are very overcast this morning and we haven't had very good weather at all. Nevertheless, today we're going to go on holiday for the first time in about 4 years in this. You probably remember my old Volkswagen, and you may recall an earlier film in which we went to Spain. Well, we're not going to be quite so adventurous this time. We're actually only going to the east coast of the UK. However, I've been a little more adventurous in the mode in which we go. As you can see, I now have an ex-ambulance. It's not an ambulance anymore. I've converted it, and before we actually set off on our journey, I'd like to show you what I've actually done to this vehicle in the way of converting it from an ambulance to a motor caravan. First of all, however, you'll notice that I've kitted it out with a few accessories. Ordinary radio, that's the small aerial, the customary CB of course, and a public address system up top there. First of all, let's take a look at the back end. As with standard ambulances, there's a back flap to let down and walk in. This, incidentally, is a connector for the gas. You just screw a gas bottle on, put the bottle outside, and we'll have gas for the built-in cooker, which you'll see in a moment. First, however, I'd like to show you this compartment I've built here. Remove the catch, slide open the door, and here we have a toilet compartment. If we now take a closer look inside, you'll see that this gadget here is in actual fact a hand basin, which when you swing out these retaining flaps, lower the head down, there's your hand basin. Toilet roll here, back up again, towel, cabinet to hold all various bits and pieces like toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, shaving equipment, soap and what have you. Toilet roll holder here, I'm not sure if you can see that. And most important of all perhaps, now this is one item which we found would have been extremely useful when we went camping before with the Volkswagen. And of course we didn't have the facility then, but now we do. A chemical flushing toilet. If we now close this up again, I can show you the next bit. This cabinet here, which you may get a better view of in a moment, is a cabinet specially designed for a number of purposes. It will hold the portable video recorder and also have the portable television on top. There's a couple of power sockets, 12 volt obviously, to run both items, and a small compartment for various odds and ends underneath. Now the side of the cabinet, because there's two doors here which open out for access to both, the side of the cabinet, that's not just a solid side, because it lifts up like this, and inside this compartment we can keep a spare water bottle, can of motor oil. But this plays another role. In the kitchen unit over on my right, your left, which you'll see in a moment, there is a door, and if we open this door and swing it round, this side of this cabinet forms a table, which when the bed, which you'll also see me demonstrate in a moment, when the bed is dropped down into the bed position and both mattresses are put on this side, two people can sit here and use its whole surface as a table, and with the aid of a camp seat a third person can sit this side. Let me give you a closer look at the kitchen. Let's take this half first of all. On the top we have a combined stainless steel cooker, sink and drainer. And the cooker has two hot plates, or boiling rings, whichever you like. If you drop this flap down, here are the controls, plus a grille with a metal compartment to protect the surrounding woodwork from heat. There's also up here and here 2 stainless steel heat reflecting panels to protect the fiberglass body. Above, a mild steel cooker hood. Just a simple one. It's got no extractor built in at this time, although I am intending to install that. Now, put that flap back up, release this, swing this door open. Have a rack screwed on the inside of the door for holding whatever. And inside, hope you can see them, 2 10-gallon water bottles. Now this pipe here is inserted into one or the other of the bottles, and that pipe runs down to the running board here. Close that up again. And just down here there is a foot pump to prime the water system if it's empty. So you just press your foot on this pump and it pumps the water through the system. Now, having done that, it then goes into an electric pump situated underneath the floor of the vehicle. And you see in the sink here there is a tap, which when you turn on the tap, it's hooked up to a micro switch, which switches on the pump. So you get running water. Now incidentally, exactly the same thing happens in the toilet compartment with a hand basin. That is also hooked up to the same motor and will also pump the water through. So, that's this half of it. Let me just show you the other half. Now this bit's quite simple. There's another door. Gives us access to a compartment with a couple of shelves for storing pots, pans, plastic boxes for foodstuffs and what have you. This flap here, it has to be there because, as I explained to you, this door is cut to the right height for this flap to come up and form a table. So I couldn't bring the door right up to the top, so I had to make this flap to match in and fill the gap. And that will also swing open and allow you to get the big plastic box out, because with this in place that won't come out. Then up this end there is another flap very similar to the table of the utility unit, and if you pull this up and push a bolt into the side of the vehicle, it gives you a work surface, and I hope to be able to show it to you. In this position you also have access to yet another storage compartment. There, you should just about be able to see it, the storage compartment within that section with the lift up lid. But now I'm going to go and close that down again. I don't know if you can see it very well, but here, just behind the driver's seat, is a bench seat for up to 4 passengers. But as you'll see in a moment when we go round the back again, I screw a couple of screw-in legs on the top edge of what is at the moment the back of the bench seat, remove 2 bolts which go out into the bodywork, and the back drops down to form a double bed. Let me show you. Okay, then here are the legs. Screw one in here, one in the middle section, and one over on the right. There is provision for 5 legs, but normally 3 is sufficient. And you'll see this bolt here. Remove that. Do the same to on the other side. And this drops down, square up the mattress, and here you have a double bed. On the rack up here, which was a standard fitting when this was an ambulance, only it was here then, I've moved it across here, having refurbished it, and up here we keep pillows, sleeping bags, blankets, etc. And there you can see the rack, as I say, complete with all bedding gear, etc, etc. Right, well that's fine for the 2 adults, but what about a child? Well now up here, all you'll really be able to see is this fascia board. Now what it is, it's just a board clipped either side of the vehicle, and there's another one about 22 inches beyond it, and they're just hanging there, and they provide safety so that a child will not fall out of this bunk, which is simply two aluminium tubes fixed in end supports and with a nylon or Tygon sling between the two, so the child can sleep quite happily in this bunk bed. And basically that is it. The whole thing's kitted out with curtains. There's a device up here, it's just a bracket with a strap, there's two of those. These came with the ambulance as it originally was to hold the stretcher. Here I've just re-sighted them, and they hold the bunk kit when it's not wanted and is rolled up and put in position. Oh, one more thing, hope you can see it. Here we have a lift up roof for ventilation. So all in all, we have just about everything we need for a camping holiday. And this is where we're going to go, camping. Come on, let's go. We're off to the east coast. Hello again. Well, we've had a nice wet drive up from Essex and we're now in Peterborough in north of Cambridgeshire. I'm actually in the car park of the Lloyds Life Assurance Company where of course I work. This is the building behind me, so let's just take a closer look. We just saw the north block, and this connecting building is the reception hall. And this is the south block. Just 2 stories and built in a style which corresponds to the surrounding redeveloped area of Peterborough. This is actually Bretton, an outlying area of Peterborough. Well, hello once again. Now here we are at Skegness. This is the south end of the shore because we're running north to south, and it's in fact Monday evening. We arrived last night and well, it just poured down with rain really all night long. There was just a brief spell during which luckily it was dry because the lights were put on all along the seafront, opened up by Rod Hull and Emu. But we spent the night, as I say, mainly raining in a caravan site not too far away, and we've come back today and we've spent all day, again, very overcast, cloudy. It's sunny now, funnily enough, but it's been very, very cold, as you can see, a jumper, and this is August, so what can you do? We've had quite a nice time here. Not quite sure what we're doing yet. We may stay over and move on somewhere else tomorrow, or we might move on tonight. I may or I may not be able to show you 1 or 2 of the places in Skegness before we do move on. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, as I say, this is the south end of the shore, and just over that ridge there is the sea, but we can't see it from here. Skegness is quite a nice place and would be lovely if the weather was on our side, which it isn't at the moment. There's lots of activity up this end, fun fairs, everything that you would expect. All in all, it's a very nice place, Skegness. This is still part of the quiet end of the promenade. We have a
bowling green, a very, very good model village there, a putting green, and the main promenade really starts up here. That's part of the lights going at the moment, and this was where the opening ceremony was done last night with a specially constructed stage on that island that the clock tower stands in. Now you can see the clock tower from the other side of the road. We've moved up the promenade a little bit. There's a lot of things here, the usual seafront theatre with all the top names, a very good amusement park along here. Of course the pier entrance. Now we've moved up a bit further still. There's an awful lot of things here. There's an RAF display, there's a putting green, a crazy golf course. There's not a model railway but a miniature railway, and that takes you from the far end where we were before up to about halfway up, and then you can get on a waterway. It's like a sort of a canal with a motorboat, and that brings you right up to here. And then you've got yet more amusements. Now that little thing up there, that sky ride, Amanda went on that with me 4 times and she loved it. It's great fun, if you can imagine, all the way down. We didn't go on the funicular railway as Jenny's not over keen on that. We've now reached the north end of the pier, the shore I should say, and that's about the extent of it, but it is a very nice place. Hello again. I hope you can hear me above this wind and the microphone. We're now in Scarborough in North Yorkshire, and this is the northernmost point of our trip this year. We're actually at the moment is the north end of town, which is Scorby Rocks, and in the background you can see a kiddies amusement park. Just over to my right there's a pub where we spent yesterday evening with some Morris dancers. Of course Amanda joined in with them. It's very nice up here actually. The main part of town is in the background, which I'm going to show you right now. There you are. Beyond that castle is the main part of Scarborough and the south shore. This is where we spent most of yesterday. As you can see by the sky, although the sun is coming through, very cloudy, we've had a mixture of sun and rain, mainly rain unfortunately. We did actually manage to get on the beach yesterday. We may possibly be able to get on there today, but it's seeming increasingly unlikely with what must be the worst British summer for some time. Now over here we have a kiddie castle, and if you look very carefully you can see somebody rather familiar running about on that. And I'm going to move in closer with the camera and hopefully we'll get a better view. Well, she actually decided to get off, but we've encouraged her to go back on for the benefit of the video. Now she's decided she doesn't like it. If we'd been watching a few minutes ago, you wouldn't believe that statement in a million years.
you've been on that one.
Now over there is the Scorby Mills pub with the grounds and barbecue where we spent last night with the Morris dancers.
Lola, off! Off! Off!
Actually, you know, only a few miles inland is one of the Yorkshire moors. You get the general idea of the terrain from the cliff face. Around the other side of the bay, the other side of that castle, there is in fact a lighthouse. We visited another lighthouse on the way up here to Scarborough. It's a place called, escapes me just for the moment, but it was between Mablethorpe and here, still in Lincolnshire. Benborough, that's it, Benborough. And unfortunately the weather has been just so bad that I haven't stopped to get the camera out to show you majority of the places that we've been to on this trip. But we started at Skegness, we moved on to Mablethorpe, then we came up through Cleethorpes, Grimsby, and there's another place that escapes me for the moment, just before Scarborough. We finished here. The other place I was talking about was, of course, Bridlington. Well, that's where we just were. Now let's take another look at the bay. As I said before, I think I said before, this is the northern end of Scarborough, the main town being behind that castle. And over there, although we haven't actually been to it as yet, is a place called Kinderland. It's a children's paradise apparently, but I don't really know what it's like because we haven't been there yet. And there's a shot of the beach. The sand up here is very nice. It is in fact sandy beaches rather than pebble, and that is in fact ideal for children. And we're just in time to catch a shot of the railway, the miniature railway back into town. That sets off from up there, Scalby Mills Station. Now just beyond this complex here is the car park. And that's where we parked overnight this time. Finally, for now, a shot of the land, our little home for the last week. Complete with television aerial, as you can see. As I say, it's been our home for the last week. Unfortunately, it seems to be the pattern up here, and probably other places in the country, that a lot of car parks forbid you to stay overnight. They don't like campers. That's unfortunate. Maybe it's to boost up the trade of the campsites themselves. We've been very lucky. On the 2 campsites that we have stayed in, we arrived after the reception was closed and left before they opened, so we never actually paid. And here tonight, last night, no problem. We'll probably stop over again tonight before making our way back home.